Is your computer slowing down, freezing, or showing the dreaded blue screen of death? These could be warning signs that your hard drive is failing and risking all your precious data. But don't worry, in this video, we'll show you how to spot the early signs of hard drive failure, recover your data, and even prevent disaster before it strikes. Whether it's strange noises, corrupted files, or bad sectors, we've got the expert tips to save your drive and your sanity. Ready to protect your data like a pro? Let's dive in. Hard drive troubleshooting. In this new course, we will still talk about troubleshooting, but about problems related to the hard drive. If your hard drive feels bad, you could lose all your data. That's why we're going to see some simple but effective tips to check if your hard drive is faulty. And we'll also see how to save or recover your data in case of a problem. 3 signs. Your hard drive is failing. You should know that the average lifespan of a hard drive is about 5 to 10 years. This lifespan can be shortened if the hard drive is exposed to extreme temperatures, humidity, or if he was mistreated. In fact, we can say that a hard drive can fail after 3 to 5 years of service. And it's the same for SSD. Just because there are no mechanics doesn't mean that SSDs have a longer lifespan. This is why, in general, in a company, data is duplicated in real time on other disks. And if it's for personal use, such as family photos, then it's important to back up in the cloud. So, don't worry, because hard drives, which are used to back up and protect our data, don't fail overnight. That is to say, it is done gradually. This gives us time to recover the data before the disk is completely out of business. Slowdown freeze, BSOD. The first sign we'll see is if your PC slow down, it's freeze. Or if you have the famous blue screen of death very frequently. If this happens to you, and to exclude the possibility that it comes from the hard drive, because it can come from many other things, well, you could use the S.M.A.R.T technology, self-monitoring analysis and reporting technology, to check the health of your hard drive. This technology makes it possible to constantly collect the state of health of the hard drive. That is, the read error rate, temperature, the number of bad sectors, etc. With this option, it is possible to check about 30 attributes to estimate the state of the hard drive. The S.M.A.R.T is generally activated by default on all hard drives. Otherwise, it is possible to activate it directly in the BIOS. It is important to check the health of your hard drive before they fail. To analyze S.M.A.R.T data from your hard drive on Windows, you can do it in 2 ways. Either with this WMIC command, to be launched in a command prompt window. If, like me, the status is OK, then your drive is in good health. Or you can use a software which will give you a more complete analysis, which is called Crystal Disk Info. For the latter, the diagnosis will be much more complete than the WMIC command, which remains very limited. And the main advantage of this software is that you can let it work in the background to be notified as soon as it detects an anomaly on your disks. If you really care about your personal data, I strongly recommend that you monitor the health of your hard drive with software. This way, you will be alerted as soon as a problem appears. And even if it's a minor problem, prevention is better than taking the risk of losing all this data. The Crystal Disk Info software is completely free of charge. But if you want, you can also turn to a paid solution with the Hard Disk Sentinel software. The difference is that with paid software, the tests will be even more thorough. So, if your data is really sensitive, well, if for only a few euros per year, you can monitor the health of your drives in real time. For this type of problem, if your disk works perfectly while you still have freezes, latency, and blue screens, well, you should see to reset the operating system outright. This would make it possible to exclude any material problems. On Windows, you can reinstall the system while keeping your data. Corrupt data, corrupt sectors. Now let's move on to the second sign that your hard drive may be failing you. Here is the list of errors that you might have, which shows that your hard drive is seriously ill. Unreadable file or folder names. Random error messages when opening, moving, or creating files. Files that won't open. Corrupted data in your own files. Or files or folders that disappear. You should know that if you have corrupted data, well, it's not necessarily the fault of your hard drive. It can also come from a virus that infects your files. Bad sectors are areas of the hard drive that can no longer maintain the integrity of the data. These areas are therefore hidden by Windows so that they are no longer used. These are dead zones, like a little dead pixels that we can have on computer screens. Except that with corrupted data, well, you can't notice it directly, except if it points directly to one of your files. The difference also, compared to the dead pixel of a screen, is that for a disk, which has bad sectors, well, the risk is that it spreads very quickly. That's why it must be remedied as soon as possible. A Windows tool, which allows you to check for bad sectors and even repair them, is Check Disk. To start this scan, all you have to do is press Windows plus E to open File Explorer. Right-click on the disk to be scanned and select Properties. Then, in the Tools tab, click on Check. After the scan, Windows will offer to fix any errors it may have found. You can also run this scan directly in a command prompt window in administrator mode with the chkdsk command. At the end of the scan, you can also choose to repair the bad sectors if there are any. Rattling sound and the last signal, which we will see, are the strange noises that hard disks can make when they reach the end of their life. They are called death clicks. This noise is caused by the head of the disk trying to write data, but when it can't, it suddenly returns to its original position to try to write again. Other noises can also come from the hard drive, such as squeaking, which would indicate that the mechanism is faulty. It can also be the bearings or directly the motor of the spindle. What to do if your record is sick? We will now see what you can do to avoid an imminent death of your data. Step 1. Back up your data. The best thing to do is to always have a backup of your data on a second drive or in the cloud. It is unlikely that your two disks will fail at the same time unless the two disks are stored in the same place and you suffer a flood or fire. So, to avoid this risk, you could very well keep a copy of your data at work or at the home of one of your friends or family members. Ideally, you should use an online backup solution such as Google Drive, OneDrive, or Dropbox. Step 2. Replace the hard drive. After backing up all your data from the hard drive that shows the first signs of weakness, you need to replace it before it completely fails. Step 3. Dispose of the old disk. Then, for security reasons, you must completely wipe the disk to prevent a malicious person from recovering it and accessing your data. So, of course, don't erase the data with an eraser, but rather with the Windows tool, making sure you do a deep trainer. Don't check the quick format option, as your data will be easily recoverable. And to be even more relaxed, you can even open the disk and scratch it. In this case, you will be sure that no clever person will recover your data. This is the end of this course on hard drive related issues. As you can see, don't let your hard drive fail. You must act at the first signs of weakness. And don't wait for software to tell you to change your drive. You should always have a backup solution. A hard drive that fails is even less predictable than the weather. So, Don't rely too much on the signs of weakness, and bring a backup.